we reported earlier in the program tonight, the police have now made 2 more arrests in the Catie Miller case. A man and a woman were arrested and are in custody, picked up today in eastern Halifax County. As we record this, charges have not yet been laid. The police have also been conducting searches at several locations around the Halifax area today. The arrest today came just the day after a first-degree murder charge was laid in what had been a missing persons case. Catie Miller had not been heard from since the 15th of July, and her family never stopped looking for her, plastering posters all over the Halifax area and well beyond. With us this evening is Catie's father, Dr. John Miller, and her brother, Detective Constable Christopher Miller, a Toronto police officer. Gentlemen, thank you for coming, and our condolences on the loss of your daughter and your sister. How are you doing?
We're back to taking it one moment at a time. We started off these 4 months, moment by moment, and then day by day, and week by week, month by month. Now we're back to moment by moment, and it's moving quite quickly, actually, the last 3 days.
And as I say, we're recording this just after 4 o'clock. This is a case, and this is very much in your wheelhouse, an active police investigation, clearly not the way that you hoped this would end. But what are your impressions of what has happened today? And maybe, Chris, I'll begin with you, not only as a brother, but as somebody with a background in law.
I think today and yesterday just kind of reinforced what we believe the incredible police work that the Halifax Police, I guess in conjunction with the RCMP as well, had done, often, and it's quite clear, often sacrificing time for their own family, you know, in hopes of helping our family. So, I want to start off by obviously thanking them for the hard work that they have done and continue to do. But I think we're without words on how to explain the feeling that something like this causes. So I guess I gotta leave it at that, really.
Do you have any particular insight into the 2 arrests today, and what charges are likely?
We're led to believe that there'll be another murder charge, and actually the charge is similar to what had been laid against the first person arrested. We do not know who they are or what the relationship is, just that there were 2 arrests.
What do you know about the man who has been charged, and when he might have come into Catie's life?
He came into Catie's life for a short period of time, to our knowledge, late winter, early spring, and so far as we knew, he was no longer in her life, so we're not sure what's transpired.
Do we know the nature of their relationship?
Not really, no. The family never met him. I only ever heard his name once, I think.
The laying of charges provides obviously some sort of closure, but absent remains and absent a body, it must be very difficult for you both.
It is very difficult. We're hopeful that now that some places have been protected by the police, that some remains might be found.
Chris, in the beginning the police were saying there was no reason to suspect foul play. Clearly everyone was proceeding as though this was essentially a missing persons case, but clearly there was foul play. I wonder, as a police officer and somebody who was also at some distance from your family, this must have been a particular frustration for you.
Yeah. I mean, I think it goes without saying that it was pretty frustrating for me being in Toronto and then being here in Bedford. And being on the other side of things, I guess, puts a new perspective on what we do as police officers as well. But I guess, like I said before, now it kind of brings everything full circle, and that frustration has kind of gone by the wayside, and appreciation and thankfulness has replaced that. So I don't think that, I know we were hopeful, obviously, that she's going to be found and we can proceed or continue with the grieving process. And yes, but it was very frustrating not being able to be involved myself.
The Martin family expressed they had police experience, and then all of a sudden they were on the other side of the coin, and they had a new appreciation for where our family has been the last 4 months.
In the beginning, again, the police went out of their way to say they didn't suspect foul play, when clearly they must have. They really treated this as an active homicide investigation from the beginning. How much of that did they share with you, John?
They did not. They told us that they would not be telling us much, as that was best investigative practices. Because they weren't telling us anything and time was marching on, and we knew that Catie had not gone anywhere on purpose, it was becoming increasingly bleak. And the last few weeks I was almost, you don't give up hope, but almost that this might be the outcome, although some of what's evolved the last few days is perhaps even worse than that. So,
As an investigative technique, does that make sense to you as a police officer, if maybe not as a brother?
Well, certainly as a police officer, and certainly not as a brother, no question. And I can appreciate the rock and hard place that the Halifax police were in as well. And I could tell whenever that I spoke to them, I could hear the pain that they were having in their voices at not being able to tell me anything. And so yeah, certainly it's been very difficult for our family and our friends and everybody involved, I think, too, and I guess the community as a whole as well, too, having something like this happen.
John, there are still so many questions you must have about what actually must have happened.
yeah, I said earlier in the press conference this morning that in your business there's who, what, when, where, why. We have a little bit of who. Apparently there's more who's. And what, in terms of sense that she's been killed. But there's still an awful lot more to come. So it helps to not be in suspense anymore, but we've still got a ways to go.
But the why is a total mystery to you based on what you know now.
The why is a total mystery to us, and from what I've learned the last few days, I think the why may not, if it ever comes to us, will probably only come to us after the court procedures are done.
Finally, we know that Catie has a child, and a great many people just wonder how that little person's doing, without wishing to violate that little child's privacy.
Yeah. No, he's a great little guy, and he seemed to be handling it very well. We were counseled that he might have a severe reaction or act as if he wasn't paying attention, and he was on the more calm end of the scale, and but he has been asking questions since. He took it in, and it's going to be a long process.
Certainly we offer you all the peace that we possibly can at a very troubled time. We appreciate your time.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.
John Miller, Chris Miller.
Thanks, Steve.
Back in just a moment with more here.